This round's AFL Record Print Edition is available on game day at newsagents, Coles and Coles Express. Also online via afl.com.au, the AFL app, sen.com.au and the SEN app. Proudly part of our Top Sport, official wagering part of the AFL Record. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.
Yes, welcome to Sports Day. Badge and Sats here with you on a Tuesday night. Lots going on tonight. More gold for Australia. Well, almost. Seems to be a certainty. G'day, Scotty Sattler. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Badge, and stop everything at the moment. The first climbing is about to start in the Olympics.
You're not keen on that, are you?
I don't mind it, but it's just a weird sport to have.
It is.
In the Olympics?
I've already seen that. Yeah, we saw that. What's that show called? Where they...
It's a knockout.
No, the other one, the new one.
Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warrior, that's the same people.
There we go,
It's the same
6.23 seconds. That's what it takes to get from the bottom to the top.
Righto.
I've ticked that
Good
box
stuff.
now. I've watched it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, listeners, that was extraordinary commentary from Sats and I there. It looks like we've got a gold medal wrapped up in the sailing.
It's your brother, isn't
have
it?
to turn up tomorrow. My nephew, no
Matt
relation.
Belcher.
No, Matt Belcher and Will Ryan in the men's 470 class. Team list Tuesday out Sats. There's some big names back for round 21.
Yeah, there is. Just to name a few, Mitch Pearce. Nathan Cleary's been named in the 21. Not expecting him to play, but wouldn't surprise us. Isaiah Yeo coming back from concussion. Tavita Pangai Jr.'s been named in the 17. For the Panthers. Yeah, there's Val Holmes. James Tarmo, the skipper for the West Tigers, is a much-needed return as well. Mitch Moses for Parramatta, they really need him. They've all been named, yeah.
That is huge. Hey, talking Panthers, you've lined up the assistant coach at the Penrith Panthers.
Good fella.
Yeah, are they the Mooloolaba Panthers? What are they now? The Twin Waters Panthers?
Sunshine Coast Panthers, they are.
Sunshine Coast, yeah. So Cameron Sorreldo. Good stuff. Lots to get through tonight. Hey, I just want to quickly off the top say, what is going on with the hair and the nails and the makeup of the female sprinters? Over the years, it's got...
That's been going on for years. That's Flojo started that, and then there was Merlene Oddie, and that's been going on for years.
True. Righto. And makeup, like lots of makeup as well. I know they're not sprinting. My wife's going, gee, I tell you what, she would have spent some time on that. Getting that makeup done. So, anyway, what do you reckon? 0477 736 736. Is it? My dad would have called them muggles. Mm-hmm. The hot topic we've got as well. Come November the 1st, there's a heap of players up for grabs.
I think it's been the most active we've seen in recent memory, Badge, with the players that are going to come off for 2023. Now, as you know,
there's some big names.
Yeah, November 1 you can sign for 2023, and hence if expansion was going to happen in 2023 like they anticipated initially, there would have been so much player movement, and a lot of managers would have kept players off the market to see what a new team was going to look like. Now that's going to possibly be 2024. The list of players we're going to go through is it's very substantial with some key players in there.
Yeah, well, who do you want? Who would you love to have at your club out of these? Let's throw a few at you. Manu, Kickow, Brandon Smith, Tupane,
Harry Grant,
Tino, Harry Grant, Munster, Big Nelson, Brian Adam Fanua Blake, Cook, Mitchell, Radley, Gutherson, Dylan Brown, Marnie, Papali'i. I tell you what, hell of a hot team that'd be if you put Lem into one side. Who do you reckon? 0477 736 736. Who do you reckon would be the best player your team could pick up? Righto, let's get into this.
Sports Day Sports Update.
Ooh, that's loud. That blew my ears away. Hey, incredible. The 400-metre hurdles final today. Norway's Karsten Warholm smashed his own world record. He clocked 45.94 seconds, Sash. Did you see this?
I did. And many may sit back and say, oh, who cares? 400-metre hurdles, not an event that Australia are very good at, not an event that we'd really ever celebrate. Well, we had Debbie Flintoff-King, you've got to remember, in 1984, one of the greatest finishes we've seen in track and field to win the gold medal.
Sally Pearson,
but the 400 hurdles, they believe it's one of the most exhausting races that you can race. In the lactic, they believe that the runners go through, and that the last 40 to 50 meters is as painful as you could possibly get. Now, when you talk about this Karsten Warholm, we're seeing an event and we're seeing a performance that we believe that will be talked about for decades. To be able to break 46 seconds in 400-metre hurdles, Bruce McAvaney explained it as Beeman-esque, as in Bob Beeman with the long jump in Mexico, 690 something.
Now, what was it unique about Mexico? It was at altitude.
Altitude, yeah, exactly.
So they had a lot of records being broken. Now, 7 of the 8 runners in this 400-metre hurdles final ran PBs.
Yes.
Why is it so fast? Why was it so fast?
Well, the American would have broken the world record also. That came second.
Yeah, he was amazing. Well, the athletes in Tokyo reckon the track is one of the fastest they've ever run on, almost like running on air. And apparently Mondo, who supply the track, they're able to measure all the technological stuff around energy response and shock absorption. They deem it to be the quickest in history. So would be therefore giving him some sort of advantage. And Sats, I don't want to cast doubts around this because I think it was an incredible run, and who knows what he would have done even if he was in bare feet. But there's these carbon technology super shoes as well that are having an effect on times. Is this like being in, as the swimmers say, sometimes you just get one of these incredibly quick pools with a super suit on?
Yeah, possibly. But then again, Badge, we saw in the 100-metre men's final, which was won by the Italian, run, I think it was 9.79, a long way from the world record. So there's an argument that it's better for the long-distance events as opposed to the speed events. So there's an argument for and against. So I actually looked at some of those carbon spikes on Friday night. A friend of mine's son who's a sprinter, and he showed me the difference between the normal spike and the new carbon spike, and it's very solid. There's no give. You can't really bend the shoe. It's like it's solid from toe to heel, and I don't know
clogs. I could run in clogs.
I was speaking to one of our colleagues, Adam Peacock, who has called many sports around the world, tennis, athletics, rugby league, whatever it may be. He's trying to compare it, the 400-metre hurdles and this performance by Carsten Warholm, he's sub 46. He said if you want to break it down to a 100-metre race, it's like a 100-metre sprinter running in the 10.4s. Now that Bolt ran in the 10.5s, it's like breaking Usain Bolt's 10.53, I think, or 10.56 world record. It's like running in the 10.4s. That's how significant this performance was. So if you haven't seen it, listeners,
it goes quicker than some of the 400-metre runners, and yet they have to jump hurdles.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the heats, a lot of the heat runners, his time of 45.94 seconds, beat a lot of the 400-metre heat runners as well. It makes you question about whether you're going to go through the next Olympics, isn't it?
Oh, my God, yeah. Hey, now off the top we mentioned Matthew Belcher, Will Ryan have secured a second sailing gold for Australia. As long as they turn up tomorrow.
Apparently the only way they're going to get beaten,
if they disappear overnight.
Yeah, if an iceberg appears overnight, it's the only way it's going to stop them, which is not going to happen.
In the men's 470 class. So they raced today. They finished 8th in race 10, but that was their worst of the comp, so it was discarded, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
And they've got an unassailable lead over Sweden heading into the medal race tomorrow, so prepare the champagne for Matt Belcher and Will Ryan. Great stuff. It feels weird saying that name. Now, were we ripped off in the soccer last night, Sats, or what? The women's soccer?
Well, I was talking to Bretton Speed, one of our colleagues, and he's also the voice of the Olympic soccer that you hear when you're watching on Channel 7. And I asked him what is actually the rule that they're trying to that Australia were penalised for. He said it's a rule that's very rarely used. And Brixie, our panel man here, he's also a bit of a soccer man. He was telling us it's a rule, Brixie, they can't remember the last time it was used in a major event.
And it hasn't been used entirely in this tournament. And Sam Kerr did say in the post-match interview, they are all aware of the rule. And they have to say, well, that's just football. That's just the way it is. But I think everyone's like, but why? Why now? Why now?
First half. It was first half. It was a cross into the box, and Sam Kerr positions herself beautifully. Good contact. Gets in the middle right-hand side of the goal, but the whistle went before she actually made contact, or just simultaneously she made contact with the ball. So that's the argument in favour of the officials. Now, they're claiming that an Australian player blocked the pathway of a Swedish player to be able to get across and block the ball before Sam Kerr made contact with it. Now, if you look at the replay, and I think if you look in rugby league and all these different examples where they feel as though that a player gets in the way that plays no role in the eventual outcome, they still err on the side of caution in favour of the penalised player.
The last time that happened at the Olympics, 1936, England versus Germany in Berlin in the final, and the referee was Adolf Hitler, and he penalised England, pushing Germany out of the way. Sign of things to come. Hey, before we get to the break sets, we've got a couple of... just quickly, you want to talk about Will Chambers sledging last night. Tommy Turbo,
54th minute.
Masterclass.
Yeah, 28-10. And Tommy Trebojevic was unbelievable, wasn't he, in that 40-22 win over the Sharks. But, Dylan Walker got smashed by Will Chambers, a good tackle. And then Will Chambers got up and continued to sledge Dylan Walker. There's many on social media saying that the reason why he's sledging is because of the previous charges that Dylan Walker was facing over the years. But I think it was just good old-fashioned rugby league sledging. When you're down 28-10, but it's probably not the best time to do it. I'm not quite sure.
I don't like it, no.
We've always come across some great...
I was a bit of a sledger, but I don't like it.
I don't see you sledging at all. You had one of the greatest sledgers of all time on your side, and Ricky.
Yeah, he was great.
He was outstanding sledger. He put you off your game pretty easy. He once said to me...
Did he ever get you?
Yeah, he once said to me and Jeff Wittenberg, whose dad, John Wittenberg, played for Australia back in the 60s. We were playing in the same team against Canberra. And he said, have a look at you two. You attempted chips off the old block. And just absolutely shattered me. Shattered me.
Not even just attempted. Oh, there you go. He gave it to you. Hey, look, we've got lots to get through in NRL news. We're going to talk to Cameron Ciraldo from the Penrith Panthers soon, the assistant coach. Sports Day Player of the Round for expert car service you can rely on. Visit repcoservice.com. I'll throw some names up, Sats. You tell me who it is. Joey Manu for the Roosters back on Thursday night. Bradman Best and Kalen Pong are out. Great for the Knights against the Raiders. Katoni Staggs, the best of the Broncos.
Aggressive.
Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell for the Bunnies last night. For the Titans, Tino Fasumala-Awi, Sam Lasoni, Ash Taylor, very good. And Tommy Trebojevic last night for Manly. Doesn't he spark them up, or yesterday?
Yeah,
who's your Sports Day Player of the Round?
Oh, well, again, I think if it was a rugby league week, I think Tommy Trebojevic last night would have got a 10 out of 10 again. And they took him off the field as well. They waved the white flag in the end.
And it
wasn't fair.
A bit vulnerable. Righto, for Repco Servicing, your local mechanic with the nationwide backing of Repco. Book online at repcoservice.com. This is Sports Day for the Kia Sorrento Drive Car of the Year. Back in a tick.
This is Sports Day with Badge and Sats. For Kia, the Kia Sorrento Drive Car of the Year.
Yeah, it sure is. Badge and Sats with you on a Tuesday night. Lots going on. Team lists coming up very soon. But before we get to all that, Panthers assistant coach Cameron Ciraldo has been kind enough to join us a little bit. We've spoken to him earlier this year, but circumstances are different because they are locked down or in quarantine or isolation, whatever you want to call it, in the NRL bubble. The Panthers, as is every other side, on the Sunshine Coast, these guys. And Cameron, just ringing up to see and to check on you, mate. How you going without the family?
Yeah, missing the family, but I'm pretty stoked they're all going to be here tomorrow, and they're pumped. They're pretty excited to get out of quarantine. So, we've had a couple of big days of work, and tomorrow we've got a day off. So when the families get here, we get to show them around the hotel and see the beautiful weather in Sunshine Coast.
You're at Twin Waters sharing that with 3 other sides. Before we get to that, your wife and how many kids have been in quarantine in 14 days in a hotel? 5?
Yeah, we've got 5 kids, yeah. So
have you got your own wing? Have you got your own wing at the hotel? The Ciraldo family?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. I haven't heard about that, actually. I've just heard how crazy all the kids are going in the room and fighting and crying. So I'm sure I'll hear more about it tomorrow when they get here. But no, they're going to be super pumped when they get here and get to see everything that's in this beautiful resort. So looking forward to it.
She'll actually be just dropping the kids to you for 3 days. You know that.
Yeah, I think so. We've spoken about that. It's going to be a bit of something to manage. We've got 2 days training after that leading up to the game, and I'm sure all the wives here want to dump all the kids. But, hopefully we can still concentrate on footy, and we've got a big game this weekend against the Roosters.
Different form of coaching, Cam. Now, you said you're at the same hotel with a number of other teams, and one of those is the Roosters, who you're playing this week. Has there been death stares at 1,000 paces yet, or are all the teams able to interact with each other?
We don't not interact too much, but we're walking past each other all the time. So I'm actually sitting here watching over the pool now, and the Roosters are in there doing recovery. So it's a bit weird, but the boys have got to play them. they've done all right so far. Newcastle and the Roosters team rooms are next to each other, so they had to play each other the other week. And the whole thing over the last 2 years, I think the whole competition's been weird and doing things that have never happened before, and this is just another example of it. To walk past people, you got to play on the day of the game is certainly something that's probably hasn't been done too often before, but it's just something you got to do now, and that's our job, and you do it to the best of your ability.
Now, Cam, we spoke to Ricky Stewart a couple of weeks ago. They're on the Gold Coast, and I feel as though that this is uncharted waters for a lot of your coaches in the NRL. You've got to find another skill as a coach, being in quarantine with your players 24 hours a day. Now, the same question I asked Ricky, and I'm really interested to see what yourself and Ivan's feedback is on this as well, of not overcoaching too much, knowing you've got players and you want to talk to them about parts of the game, but realising they've got to have time away from the game as well. How hard is that?
Yeah, it's been pretty. It's been all right actually. I certainly feel like we've been working more just because you hear more often. You've got to have more meetings about different changes to COVID rules and changes to games and all stuff like that. So you sort of feel like you're working more just because you're having more meetings and updates and things like that. But in terms of the players, we've kept it as close to our home preparation as possible. When they've got a day off, we give them a day off and we don't talk to them about footy. But but there are some players that actually are chasing a bit of extra attention and things like that. There was days there when people would walk past my room at 8 o'clock at night and want to have a look at some video, and more than happy to do that at different times. But I think the key is not to go and hound them and chase them and talk footy to them 24/7. It's just to allow them to own their own preparation as well. If they want something, you're there to help them. If they want to get away from you, you leave them alone.
You've had a pretty disrupted last few weeks, haven't you? Compared to start of the season, I don't think you had too many serious injuries, and the team was sort of floating along really nicely, playing great footy. But it's all been quite challenging, I imagine, the last few weeks. How's that? How are you handling that?
Yeah, it's been good to see some guys get their opportunities as well. We've got a squad there that we believe in, and with the New South Wales Cup not being played at the moment, some guys aren't getting any footy. So for them to come in and get a game of NRL, we're really pumped to see them and how they go and see them take their opportunity. But yeah, it has been a bit disrupted. But most teams go through that. We were just really lucky at the start of the year that we pretty much had the same 17 every week. Had a really good rhythm, but that's what Origin does. That to a number of teams, and we had a large representation. So I think we might have that moving forward, and we just got to get used to it and make sure we do it better every year. But we certainly learned a lot of lessons over the past 6 weeks, and hopefully that'll help us down the track. But we'll get some guys coming back over the next few weeks leading into the semis, and we'll time our runner hopefully.
It could be a real positive, yeah, couldn't it? If you think if you do lose key players during the finals, the team will have been through that before. They'll have had to adapt and overcome and handle not having certain players out, even if it's someone that hasn't been out before. So I think it's probably better off happening now. Would you think that, Cam, than in the finals when you're in the in the do or die stages?
Yeah, you never want injuries, but hopefully Nathan will be back pretty soon, and Brian looks like he'll be back before the semis. Fisher Harris is a weird one because, he had to go home he's going to miss 3 to 4 games with going home to see the birth of his baby and come back with his family. So, even that might be a positive because he's played a lot of footy over the last 3 or 4 years, and this 3 or 4 weeks might give him a chance to freshen up the body and come home with wet sails. So, we feel like we're in a good position. We're happy with where we're at. We've got a lot of things we need to work on in our game, but we're in a good place to be able to do it, and excited about what's ahead.
Now, Cam, a lot of the media after the loss of the Storm were saying, that's it, Storm are going to win the comp. The Panthers' season has been derailed. Now, to remind a lot of people that you've only dropped 1 out of the last 5 games, and against the Storm, depleted side. But when you do have injuries, there's still facets of the team, the principles and philosophies that you can still control. And listening to Ivan in the post-match press conference, he was disappointed in some of those philosophies that you felt as though you dropped against the Storm. What are they?
Yeah, look, the Storm were really, really good on the weekend, and they thoroughly deserved to beat us. But there was a number of areas we thought we could have done a lot better in. They outcompeted us in a number of areas. We gave up some really soft points that we haven't been accustomed to doing for the last 18 months. So we've had a good hard look at the video, and we've got a few areas we need to fix. But a lot of those areas, didn't come down to any talent. It wasn't like Nathan or Brian Tyle or James Fish-Harris were going to fix any of that. There was some stuff in there that, just some competitive stuff that we missed the mark on. So, it's been pretty key to our review and moving forward, and hopefully we don't see that again.
Now, Tavita Pengai Jr. has been named on the bench, Cam, this week at this stage. Now, you got a very close playing group at the Penrith Panthers. They've spent a lot of time together through junior reps and their pathway into the NRL. How's the group accepted a newcomer so late into the season when he's only going to be there for a handful of weeks?
Yeah, really well, actually. That's always the thing, how someone comes and fits into your group. But the boys actually played a lot against him in SG Ball under-20s. 4 of them played junior Kangaroos with him when they were in the under-20s. So they had a previous relationship with him, and so that was good for him to know a few guys when he came in. And he's come in now, he's been here 4 or 5 days, and he's worked really hard to understand our systems and processes and things like that. And he's asking a lot of questions. He's got a really high footy IQ. So, we pretty much only told him things once, and he's gone and got it done on the field. So I think he's earned a lot of respect with how hard he's trained since he's got here and how committed he is to what we're trying to do. And, the boys have accepted him really well. And, hopefully he can go and put his best foot forward for us moving forward.
Yeah, we're chatting with Cameron Sorrello, the Panthers assistant coach, and they're the teams in the NRL bubble on Twin Waters on the Sunshine Coast, which is a terrible place to be staying. But I've got to say, being locked down out of your normal routines and all together for an extended period of time, it does have its challenges. Are there any players that stand out with that as far as, making sure that the team's happy, organising, little side events or whatever else? So who are the guys that do that for the team rather than depending on the coaches to do it?
Jerome and Brian have always got that beatbox going, and they've got the music sorted every day, so that's not a problem.
How do you go with that? You like the music?
That wouldn't be your music,
that,
Cam.
Well,
no way.
It's not my style, but it definitely gives a bit of energy to the group, and I can appreciate that. So hopefully one day they'll let me put my playlist on, but it hasn't happened yet. But they bring a great energy to the group, and you can't. It just takes your mind off things when you're around those guys. Everyone's probably missing their families at different times, but you see guys happy and laughing and enjoying each other's company. It sort of takes your mind away from those sorts of things. But we've got a table tennis table up there, and there's been some pretty heavy competition going on there. Guys are putting in a lot of effort on the table tennis table and improving. So that's been pretty cool. A lot of chess games going on as well, which has been pretty good to see the guys come out and they've got a bit of talent on the chessboard. And gets quite competitive as well. So, there's heaps of little things going on here, but the main thing is we've got to get our job done on the weekend, so that's always in the back of your mind.
Cam, you would have forgotten about rugby league for a short period over the last couple of nights when Italy won the 100-metre gold medal and the high jump at the same time. Well,
you wouldn't believe what happened. We settled in to watch it, and as just before the starting gun went, the Channel 7 went dead on the TV. I don't know if it happened. It happened all over Australia or it just happened at this hotel.
I just have it in Panthers camp. That's the only one that happened because they're the only ones got an Italian coach.
Yeah. Well, so I missed it. I only saw the replay, but I didn't. Everyone always told me Italians weren't that fast. That's why I thought I wasn't fast, but he's proven me wrong.
Yeah, did you captain? Did you play? You played for Italy. I know that. Did you captain Italy?
Yeah. No. Minicello was captain. Captain, and James Tedesco's room's just down the road from me, and he was one of our star young players coming through. So pretty cool to see how he's grown into a mature leader he is now.
Any pests? I know that you got your regular pests in the club, Liam Martin and co. But has there any others emerged that you've spent a lot more time with that you didn't realise they had that personality?
Oh, Marto's still number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marto and Brent Naden still. Yeah, they're taking the trophy home.
Is Liam Martin showering yet? Because we've heard from a number of your players that he's always guilty of not having great body odour. Is that true?
Yeah, well, the ringworm seems to have gone off him. So, maybe being in the Queensland heat has been good for him. Yeah.
Good stuff.
But he's going well. He's going well, Marto. They bounce off each other, and there's not too many pests up here. They're all pretty cool.
How important is it, Cam, just on Liam Martin in all seriousness, his first time in Origin and Jerome Luai watching them the weeks after Origin, because it's not the week after Origin, it's usually week 4 or 5 where you start to feel the body really fatigued. You're keeping a close eye on those players?
Yeah, it was sort of uncharted territory for how many we've had go through that. But yeah, they've come back really well. I think Marno in particular got a heap of belief out of being on that stage and came back and he was a foot taller. So he's been really good for us. You know, he's played a couple of different roles for us. He's played edge back row and he's had to play front row for us with Fish being out. So he's done really well, and it was really good to see him on that stage. And Jerome's had a different role as well. You know, without Nathan there, he's had to step up and manage the game a bit more, and he's learning on the run a bit there. But those guys, it was awesome to see them on the big stage and do really well, and hopefully that's going to help us at the back end of the year.
Well, I'm sure Panthers fans are happy to hear from you that you think Nathan Cleary and Brian Toto will be back at some stage in and around before the finals or just when you hit the finals, and no doubt you're going to be in that top 4. And can you leave them with some positive news around Viliami Kikau? You're pretty sure that he'll be staying at the Panthers?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything different. Kicks loves it here. We love him. He's doing a great job for us. He's probably not getting the raps he deserves at the moment. His defence has improved so much over the last couple of years, and he's really leading the way for us defensively in a number of areas. Working really hard off the ball. So we love Kicks, and I think he's a big part of our team.
Italy won gold in the sailing this afternoon, the mixed sailing as well, Cam. So there you go.
Oh, really? Really? Nice. Yeah. Tedesco's just walked past me, so I might tell him that we might get a celebrate.
Yeah, get him off guard for the weekend. Good luck for you and Cameron Sorrello and the Panthers this weekend's big game against the Roosters, wherever that may be. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. See you, boys.
Radio, Cameron Sorrello there from the Panthers. Sats, well done lining that up. This is Sports Day for the Kia Sorrento Drive Car of the Year. And on that note, talking about Viliami Kikau, he's one of these players that is off contract end of next year, and he's up for grabs as of November. That's our hot topic. Which player would you want at your club? Back to talk about that and more soon on Sports Day.
This is Sports Day with Badge and Sats for Kia, the Kia Sorrento Drive Car of the Year.
Now, hot topic time.
Yeah, that's the bit where I'm supposed to wait for the hot topic to play before I start speaking, but we'll get to it, Sats. Sorry about that, jumping all over the top of that. Hot topic tonight is come November the 1st, a bunch of great players are going to be officially allowed to talk to other clubs. It's a year before their contract finishes, and I know you're not a big fan of this, Sats. I can't say I think it's a perfect system either, but all of these players that are off contract at the end of 22 can start negotiating officially as of the 1st of November this year. And, gee, there's some big names.
I can't see why we can't go back to the June 30 deadline where you can play half a season, and by then you'll definitely know whether a player is going to be part of your ranks, and they're going to know whether they want to be part of your club also. So, but to go to the November 1, I can't see a lot of these players going through to November 1. With expansion not happening in 2023. So, we mentioned some earlier on, Badge. Joey Manu has just become hot property he's made it known that he wants to play fullback or 5'8" as well. We played on the wing last week. We played real roving.
He goes well everywhere.
Yeah, amazing. Viliami Kikau, who I'm led to believe is on around about $650 a year and may not be able to fit in the Panthers' salary cap come 2023 when he comes off the end of next year.
It's the tricky bit when you're very successful, fitting everyone in as they get upgraded.
It's led to believe that he'll be asking in excess of around $950 to $1 million. He wants to be a marquee player. His management believes that's what he'll get on the open market and can probably get that from cross-code sport and rugby union, which he started out playing.
Right.
So Brandon Smith, Joseph Tarpanay, Tino Fasul-Malaawi only signed a 2-year deal at the Gold Coast Titans. I can't see him leaving there. He's on big money there, and
they wouldn't let him go, would they?
Exactly. Nelson Asofa-Solomona, Cameron Munster, Harry Grant. What about that for a duo if your club got them?
Were they perhaps waiting to hear about what Craig Bellamy was doing, and now
I think
is the Melbourne Storm now in deep conversation with
them? I think
with
Pappenhausen announcing that he was staying was no surprise. It was after Bellamy was announced as the coach for the next 2 years. Adam Fanua-Blake, Brian To'o, Damien Cook, Latrell Mitchell, Victor Radley, Clint Gutherson, Dylan Brown, Red Marnie, Isaiah Papali'i. So the question is, which player would your club, should they be going after for 2023? Is there a position? Now, Badge, your Raiders, if you look at your Raiders lineup at the moment in 2023 and you're able to sign one of those players in November 1, let's say all of those players went through to the open market. Who's the player that the Canberra Raiders need?
Well, I look at them and I go, okay, they're pretty strong up front and in the hooking role, very good. Could use with some backup or another halfback. There's probably not a lot of halfbacks coming on the market. Dylan Brown's not a halfback. I think he's a 5'8", so not too many there. Could they fit Munster and Whiten into a team? Very debatable if Jack Whiten then could play somewhere else, and they've already got some very good fullbacks when you look at Nickel Clockstar and Simonson's had a go, and Young Savage came through and he went well there, and Rapana played well there. So it's probably going to have to be an outside back like Joey Manu. I also think that every single club would find a role for Brandon Smith.
Yeah,
he's just he could play, and I know the problem is he wants to play hooker, mostly hooker. But gee, the guy he's a winner around the middle of the field when you've got the footy. He can make the end defensively outstanding too. So he'd be high on my list, I think, Brandon Smith, along with Joey Manu.
I think for the Panthers, I think it's imperative they get Viliami Kikau, that big damaging back row that sits on an edge. I love Dylan Edwards as a player. He's involved in everything, but I think your fullback has got to be someone who's scoring in excess of anywhere between 15 and 20 tries a year. I think Joey Manu comes into that category. And for the team that I've followed ever since I was a baby, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, I think they need an Adden Fanua-Blake or a Nelson. I'd go after Nelson Asofa-Solomona. It's just a big mobile front rower.
Oh, he'd be a great buy. Now, if there's one player there that you think is more likely to go on the open market than the others, not be wrapped up, who's going to put themselves on the open market just to get themselves that
Joey Manu,
that great deal?
And Joey Manu and Viliami Kikau, I think.
Well, tell us what you think. 0477 736 736. Which player would you love to see at your club out of that list? There might be someone else that we've missed out as well. That's not the conclusive list of who is off contract at the end of 2022. This is Sports Day for the Kia Sorrento Drive Car of the Year. We'll come back, Racing Up Queensland update and a team list Tuesday. Lots of big names back for this week, round 21 of the NRL.
This is Sports Day with Badge and Sats for Kia, the Kia Sorrento Drive Car of the Year. On Sports Day, time for a Racing Queensland update. Queensland is your place to race this year.
Yeah, he's one of the favourites for Racing Queensland, Chris Nelson. If there was a Racing Queensland calendar, he would be on every... He'd be January through to December.
Yeah, and fully clothed.
Yeah. Now, Queensland is racing. The action continues this week at Doomben, the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast, and among many other venues as well, Chris. Now, we spoke to you yesterday about Rothfire was trialling this morning. How did that play out?
Well, very, very well. Actually, Robert Heathcote will be absolutely wrapped in what Rothfire did this morning. He went around in heat number 1 at Doomben, and he sizzled around the track. He sat outside the leader, La Palmiere, who's one of Tony Gollan's, who's very, very quick. He put La Palmiere away early in the straight, and then he came clear to win by 3.5 lengths, actually. His time was 55.95, which is really quick for 1,000. And he went round his last 600 in 33.45. So he was flying. So everyone's wrapped in that. Robert Heathcote would have had a probably sleepless night last night and a good one tonight.
You talk about Rob Heathcote, and I was reading a tweet this morning saying that he thought he had booked James McDonald to ride Rothfire in the shorts, but he gets first refusal, and it says it'll hinge on whether Nature Strip races in that same race.
Yes, that's how it appears at the moment. So if Nature Strip doesn't run, then James will be on Rothfire. But they're pretty quick to get James McDonald booked in some way, shape or form, which is a really good pointer that James is obviously interested in the horse. And, of course, the ultimate aim is the Everest. And if he doesn't make the Everest field, doesn't get an invite, the Golden Eagle. But, look, obviously he's got to come back and do it all under race conditions. But from what we saw this morning, everything seems A-OK.
Nice to be a wanted man. Now, what's the latest with Alligator Blood you spoke about last week?
Yeah, Alligator Blood went around Badge in a jump out at the Sunshine Coast on Sunday afternoon. He was very impressive. Only had 2 rivals, but still, he ran a really quick time. He ran his last 600 metres of the 850 jump out in 32.5 seconds, which is very, very quick. He's been off the scene since he was injured, he had that kissing spine injury in last year's Golden Eagle in Sydney. He's looking at maybe, we know he's going to Waterhouse and Bott, but maybe he'll race at the Gold Coast in the Gold Market Handicap next month. That would be, actually this month, later this month, before he perhaps went to Melbourne for the Rupert Steele and the Toorak Handicap. So we may still get him to race or see him race in Queensland, which Badge all depends on COVID.
Badge will be sleeping outside the Gold Coast track because we know Alligator Blood is just... He's almost got... Alligator Blood could possibly take out an AVO against...
I'm sleeping in his stable, actually, at the moment.
He's already there.
Yeah. The weirdos.
Yeah, so look, that'll be great. To see those 2 horses back flying the flag for Queensland will be tremendous.
You got a tip for us tomorrow?
I have. We race at Eagle Farm tomorrow, just the 7 races. Race 4, number 2. I Could Do Better. 2 runs this time in. They've both been very good. The latest, we should have finished closer. Didn't get a lot of luck in the straight.
It's like your tips each week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Saw that one coming.
Yes. Thanks, Satch. You'll keep. Third up, 1840. Should be ideal, and hopefully I can start doing better as from tomorrow with this tip.
Good stuff. Chris Nelson, Racing Queensland. Talk to you again later on the week.
Will do, guys. All the best.
Rightio, let's get into our team list Tuesday for Seats Are Us, a seat to suit contact. Seats Are Us. Knights and Broncos, Sats on Thursday night.
Sunshine Coast Stadium, and probably the biggest in, of course, is their halfback. Mitchell Pearce comes back after a long layoff, so that's a huge in leading into the finals.
Yeah, it sure is. And the Raiders and the Dragons, there's a bunch of players back for the Dragons. Laurie, Alvaro, Bird, DeBellin, Maguire, Dufty, Ravalawa, Lomax. Sounds like some of the dopey dozen coming back. Havili and Sutton for the Raiders. Eels and Rabbits on the late Friday night.
Well, the biggest one is of course Mitch Moses coming back from that back injury, which is going to be interesting to see how he manages that through the back end of the season. So it's a big one for the Eels. Disappointing last Thursday night. They need some spark.
They sure do. Warriors and Sharks, Saturday afternoon, Suncorp Stadium. These are all subject to change, of course, with all the COVID dramas going on. They get Fanua Blake back and Matt Lodge and Chanel Harris-Tavita, the Warriors, at 5/8. Ramian comes into the centres for the Sharks. Matt Moylan, jersey 21, should be back soon.
Roosters versus the Panthers, Saturday afternoon, Suncorp Stadium. Well, for the Panthers, they're mortal enemies, both these clubs. Isaiah Yeo is back after the week off with that concussion. Tavita Bahengai Jr. comes onto the bench. Good replacement for James Fisher-Harris. Not the same sort of player, but can be destructive. Nathan Cleary is the biggest one. He's been named on the extended bench, the 21. So remains a bit to be seen whether he actually ends up playing. But at least he's on the road to recovery back.
Josh Alloway comes into this side or into the bench for the Sea Eagles up against the Storm on Saturday night. And Tom Eisenhuth, the winner, on the bench for the Melbourne Storm because Felice Kafusi is out suspended. A couple of games to go on Sunday.
Yeah, Moreton Daly Stadium, which is in Redcliffe, and that's the Bulldogs versus the Tigers. And the Tigers, basically, it's benches off, benches on the field, starters are off in the forward pack. And he's made some changes there, Michael Maguire, which he needed to. And for the Bulldogs, James Tarmo's back as well, the skipper. They need that experience when they get in those periods of the game when they lose their head a little bit. The Bulldogs, Kyle Flanagan, he's been dropped for the 3rd time in 1 year. Pretty tough to take. And the last game, Badge, Titans versus Cowboys.
Yeah, Patrick Herbert comes back into the centres for the Titans, and for the big in for the Cowboys, Val Holmes at fullback. So they're the main ins and outs. Team List Tuesday, thanks to Seats Are Us, delivering quality service and products that'll leave you sitting in luxury. Sat, so you got some text there, I believe.
Yeah, just one here from Michelle and Ningen. Guys, well, the NRL games go ahead. This round is named no interruptions. But with Queensland getting a lot of COVID cases, not quite sure. Yeah, there's been a case up in Cairns as of this afternoon. So we're pretty sure, Michelle, they will go ahead. They've got pretty good protocols around them as well. And
so that's I'm assuming there's no crowds. It has to be
no
the case,
crowds. Yeah, still no crowds.
No crowds. But they've managed to play away from at the moment, not just going to be at Suncorp. The surface is getting a bit dusty there too, or a bit ordinary.
Yeah.
There, so.
Also, we got here danger in relation to what teams need which players. He said for the Broncos, it's all of them that were listed. And we've got some more texts that we'll get to in the next hour. But Rocco, Keith and Chan, don't know what they're doing at the moment, sitting around their little kumbaya circle at home. Hello, Mr. Sattler and Mr. Badger. At our novice NRL group meeting this week, we discussed the tradition of the nudie dash for players that have not scored a try this year. Do you know at this stage which team would have the least amount of try scorers? That's the Bulldogs. And so? Where and when would this team be doing this nudie run? Can you go and watch? No, you can't go and watch unless you can find out where Mad Monday is. Chan's older sister, Chin, who is only average looking but a great cook, is getting of age now and needs to find a partner. She's liking the game of rugby league, and her favourite player is Payne Haas, who hasn't scored a try this year yet. She would like to be able to attend, if this is possible, Rocco, Keith and Chan. Well, let's watch how that goes, Rocco, Keith and Chan. And if he hasn't scored by the last round, we're going to find out where that's going to happen for Chin to go and watch.
You're serious? Sats, did you ever have to do the nudie run?
No, I didn't, fortunately enough.
Well, you just didn't turn up that day?
I saw Martin Lang doing one after the 03 season on our Mad Monday. It's a vision I don't ever want to see again.
And you'll never get that out of your mind. Okay. Hey, I just went back over thanks for that, Rocco, Keith and Chan, champions. I went back over that list of players that we gave out. There was actually exactly 17 players that we gave a list out of. There's sure to be more that are off contract at the end of 22. That your club could pick up, and as someone suggested, the Broncos could have them all. That'd be a fair side too.
Yeah.
I can tell you. We might put them in order of an available team.
A quick one here, Badge. Brad from Redhead. Hi, gents. Would love to have the hectic cheese at the Roosters. Can't see Joey Manu leaving. Talking to his uncle last week, he said no way he would be leaving. P.S. I reckon every fullback and potential fullback would be kicking 10% of their deal to Peter V'landys. So Joey Manu, he wants to play fullback, he wants to play 5'8", and he wants a big contract.
Sports Day, Badge and Sats.
Welcome to Sports Day with Badge and Sats. Two footy legends covering all things sport. Kia, the Kia Sorrento, Drive Car of the Year.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around on Sports Day, Badge and Sats, and we love your involvement. Got a couple of great texts that we read out just before the end of the last hour. You can get in touch with us as well, 0477 736 736 on the McDonald Jones home number, and kickstart your extraordinary with McDonald Jones today. Scotty Sattler, I believe there's a bit of strife in the Games Village for the Aussies.
There has been, Badge.
So rosy so far.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, police have been called to the Tokyo Olympics Village after a drinking session gets out of hand with the Australians. And the Australian chef de mission in Chesterton confirmed Australian athletes smashed a hole in the wall, broke toilets at the Tokyo Village during a drunken spree over the weekend. This resulted in cleaners having to mop up vomit and repair the beds and the walls. Well, the beds were collapsing anyway. Yes, there was a hole in the wall, he did confirm. And the rowers and the rugby players were involved, and apparently two apartments had minor damage, each involving athletes from both those sides. 10 athletes had to be briefly isolated and undergo COVID tests after joining the unauthorised party at the Olympics Village on Saturday night and early on Sunday morning. And just in relation to our text messages, 0477 736 736, we've got Pam here, and this is in a loud effect, so I'd have to swear and yell as loud as I could if I wanted to read out the text message. She says, the damage done to the Japanese dormitory by the Australian footballers and rowing team is embarrassing. Their coach is sillier than them because he said it was just youthful exuberance. Toilets smashed, walls and beds smashed. Absolutely disgusting. I tend to agree, Pam.
Doesn't sound good. Does not sound good at all. I know it was a day or two ago, but forgive me, Sats, aren't they? Do they get one night after
within
their
48 hours? Within 48 hours, they're on a plane home.
On a flight. Yeah, okay. Because I know our swimmers have have gone home, and they get to Darwin and they have to go and quarantine there, and in a pretty average spot. So look, I hope this isn't as big as it sounds. Just got a text through from someone that it's old news. Well, I don't know. Is it old news or is it's not good news anyway?
Exactly.
That's for sure. So you shoot us a text, tell us what you think about it. 0477 736 736. And kickstart your new home and visit a McDonald Jones display home today. Some good news now with our sports update.
Sports Day, Sports Update.
Well, this was incredible. We've spoken about it earlier, the 400-metre hurdles final today. Norway's Karsten Warholm, who had set the world record just a few months ago, smashed it. First man to go sub 46 seconds. 400 metres hurdles, not just flat. 45.94 seconds. So outstanding stuff.
He took off up the back straight when they first...
They haven't even broken 43 seconds yet for the flat 400.
I know. If we look 150 metres into the race, he was so far ahead. And the only other person who was going to beat him was the American. The American chased him as hard as he could. They come down to the straight. The last 50 metres, it looked as though the American might have got him. He had a faster stride, a longer stride and a faster pace across...
Yeah, but who had the best shoes?
That's what it comes down to, the carbon shoes.
That could be.
The carbon shoes. This could be the new race swimsuit where say, I'm not going to have it anymore.
Yeah, this is the thing, and we did ask for some texts earlier on, and a couple of people got to us, but one of them I couldn't read out. 0477 736 736. Yeah, are these new shoes, why are they suddenly allowed? And I know Usain Bolt was interviewed about this before the games and saying, well, hang on, they were never allowed, they were always outlawed, and all of a sudden you're saying it's okay, as long as everyone can get hold of a pair of these shoes. And now that I think that they're affordable, I reckon, $200, $300, and you've got yourself a pair of these incredible carbon technology shoes. Is it fair though?
Well, then we talk about this track and apparently how it's the quickest track and the
the manufacturers we believe
the materials that have gone into this track is the quickest track that we've ever seen. But then we saw the 100 metres, first time without Bolt, first time without the current world record holder who was in a 2-year suspension at the moment for failing to attend drug tests. And so it was an open race. The Italian wins it, I think, in 10.79. 9.79.
9.8, 9.7. That's quick.
It is quick, but if we're talking about it's so much of an advantage, these shoes and this new track.
Yeah, but last month he ran 11 seconds.
That's quick. We were nowhere near Usain Bolt's world record. So there's an argument for and against.
Those blokes off the street. None of them were actually supposed to even go into the Olympics. That's how quick this track is.
Hey, Badge.
Yeah, all right. What do you think? Is there an unfair advantage there, or were we just witnessing one of the all-time great? Because 7 of those 8 runners broke their personal best in that 400-metre hurdles final.
Good hard work.
That says something.
I tell you, he's been training hard over the last few years and has become one of the best players in the game, if not the best player in the game at the moment, is Tommy Trbojevic. Last night, he put on a masterclass, didn't he, in that game? I enjoyed Monday night footy again.
How often have we said this year since
he
came back?
It's been freakish. The way that Manly started the season and how dominant he is. I mean, they looked like a completely different side when they took him off the field yesterday. They conceded a couple of tries. The amount of confidence he gives everyone around him. Morgan Harper, the centre as well. Adrian from Dural, he said, I declared 14 weeks ago when Manly were paying $20+ to win the competition. It'll be a Storm Manly grand final. I see only South challenging these two clubs. Also, Harry Grant and John Schuster are the most gifted players I've seen in the last 20 years. I've got to agree with you, Adrian, in relation to Grant and Schuster.
Quick to write the Panthers off.
Yep. But just in relation
Cleary named in jersey 21 this week. He could be back pretty soon.
In relation to this, the game last night, Manly won that game 40-22. And we talk about Tommy Turbo and how he just basically dominated the entire game. Here's some of those highlights.
Sherry Evans floating it across. Tom Trbojevic. Sam's got a double. Trbojevic. Sherry Evans. Here we go again. Tom Trbojevic takes them on. Offloads to Harper. How good is this? Last tackle. 4 of them are going to run it. Tom Trbojevic. Got past Talakai. Croker. Tom Trbojevic again. There's the turbos. Here's Tom Trbojevic. Getting away again. Tommy Turbo again. This is outrageous. Quick play the ball. Here comes Tom. Tom Trbojevic. He's gone.
That might have to be our song, one of our songs on Thursday, the Eagle Rock. Good stuff putting that together there.
Badge, as an ex-fullback, I mean, I think you sit back and you wonder, and the greatness of Tedesco and Slater, who's gone as well. But what he's doing at the moment, Tommy Trbojevic, and the effect that he's having on a game, it's almost like James Tedesco is, I don't want to say an afterthought because he's such a great player, but he's taking so much of the limelight. As an ex-fullback, do you sit back and just watch the amount of ground coverage that he covers across the game?
Not just his involvements, but his great involvements. Like, he just makes things happen, and if he doesn't, he sets stuff up, by punching between players, and he might just get grabbed, but sets stuff up for his other players. He lifts everyone around him. So yeah, I do. I admire everything about the way Tommy Trbojevic plays, and I believe he's a hell of a nice guy too. So it's it's great to watch. I really wonder, Sats, if Tom Trbojevic and James Tedesco came through, say, a year or two ago, exactly at the same time, which one would be the New South Wales and Australian fullback?
Yeah.
It'd be a struck match between them. I think because of his
durability, yeah.
Or versatility.
Versatility, sorry, yeah.
Find himself somewhere else. Let's not beat around the bush. Tedesco is an absolutely incredible player. But, you'd have to find a spot for both of them. And once again, probably the third best fullback in the game, arguably, is Latrell Mitchell. He finds himself in the centres too for New South Wales. So we've, there's some great players running around at the moment. Hey, the other thing that happened last night, Sats, or yesterday, Arvo, the Titans jumped into 7th spot.
Yeah,
how did that happen?
There's been so much movement, and we've been always, one of the major discussions is around the top 6 is pretty much set in stone, haven't we? We've got the Storm and the Panthers, the Rabbits, the Eels, the Roosters and the Eagles are still a chance of pressing into that top 4 the way they're playing at the moment. And the Roosters, the amount of injuries, and the Eels, about how badly they're going at the moment. Yeah, the Titans and Sharks make up 7th and 8th. The Raiders and the Dragons drop out.
But we've got 6, all those teams, plus the Knights as well,
yes.
Or 5 teams, are on 18.
18 points.
They're all on 18 points. It's for and against that's separating them. So it's great that we've got 5 games to go, and we've still got all of those teams in contention. And if you're a Warriors, Tigers, or Cowboys fan, you might go, you know what? String together 3 wins in a row, and you're going to be knocking on the door. So it's great that it's open, but yeah, the Titans. I didn't see that.
Well, he has the for and against.
Winning, they're in.
Good win against the Dragons last week, and then a big win against the Bulldogs last night, and all of a sudden they're at minus 24. Now they're the best of those sides from 7th down when it comes to your for and against. So
the best of those teams for and against is negative.
Negative 24.
What does that tell you?
Yep.
What does that tell you?
What it tells us it should be a top 6, and the next 2 teams should be a wild card.
You want a top 10. Hey, and they've got a good draw. Actually, I went through their draw. I thought, gee, they've got a good draw coming home. And then I went,
it's a pretty ordinary draw, actually.
They've got Penrith.
Yep.
They've got Melbourne. But no, they've got the Knights. There's not a bad draw anyway for the Titans coming home.
Parramatta fans, I mean, they have the most wretched run home out of all the teams that are trying to get into a top 4. It's a horrible draw home.
Titans have got the Cowboys this week. They finish with, they have the Panthers and Storm, then they got the Knights, and as I quickly flick, and the Broncos. Oh, geez, couldn't get any better than that, could it? Oh no, that's the Knights. Sorry, they haven't. They've got the Warriors in the last round. So interesting stuff there. Well, what else is going on? Oh, Benny Hunt. This is a bummer, isn't it? He's
it's good and bad.
And I did read today. I saw the much maligned Ben Hunt, and he has been for many years since he, not just since he joined the Dragons, when he made that mistake in the grand final, and it took him a long, long time to get over it. But I'm a real admirer of Benny Hunt.
You have been for a long time,
from a Queensland point of view. Yeah, and I've said to you for a while, I think he's a better hooker than a halfback, but he really has grown into that number 7, and looks like he doesn't. It looks like he enjoys it more than he did in the past.
Do you know the way I look at what's happening with Benny Hunt, and it has been 2021 has been a year of courage for him. He's always remembered for the knock-on in 2015 extra time, of course, like you mentioned, but it got revealed over the weekend that about 7 or 8 minutes into the game, he fractured his arm in a tackle, and then played the remainder of the game with this fracture in his arm. Now, you've got to remember, I think round 3 or round 4 was the end of March when they put the cleaners through the Seagulls at Wollongong. He had a fractured bone in his leg. And he came off with about 7 or 8 minutes to go, but soldiered through until they got to a point where the game was very safe and came from the field. And yeah, it's bad for the Dragons. They're losing one of their best players, their most experienced players. But also just individually for Benny. Benny is now being admired for his courage. And at the back end of your career, it'd be great to be remembered for other things other than the 2015 grand final. And he is endearing himself to rugby league fans for the amount of courage that he's showing at the back end of his career and playing with these injuries and putting his team first as opposed to himself. So I take my hat off to Benny Hunt.
You mentioned his name to me, and I straight away think of his outstanding performances at hooker and off the bench for Queensland. Tough little bugger. That's no doubt at all. Now, I'm not. Look, we're pretty sure that all the games that are scheduled this weekend are going to go ahead exactly where they are, without crowds, all in Queensland. But there is some concern about the Suncorp Stadium playing surface. There's no way they could have. Last week they ended up having 7 games there.
Yeah.
So you can't have magic round after magic round and just keep expecting that surface to hold up. At what point do you think they'll say, look, we've got to give this a couple of weeks off and just play at, well, this week they're at Sunshine Coast, they're at on the Gold Coast, Suncorp's got 3 games, Redcliffe as well. So maybe at some point they'll need to maybe even go north to Townsville for a bit, take 4 games up there or something.
And then the regionals, you got the regional areas as well, but it's a little bit harder to contain the public away from the playing group when the regional grounds are so close to the ground. We saw a game in Mackay, the game in Rockhampton didn't go ahead on the weekend. South Sydney arrived on the tarmac and turned around. If there's no crowds too. True, yeah.
Really, what's the point?
So it's it's going to be really hard to manage. I mean, Alan Graham at Suncorp Stadium has played a major role in this as well. He's a tremendous operator, a good friend of yours.
Well, he cuts the grass. He does everything.
He does everything.
He cuts the grass. He cleans the toilets. He's on the canteen.
Yeah, exactly.
Al, if you're listening, how are you, mate?
You know, it's. I think Seabus is going to have to take a fair bit of the weight very soon, and then there's the Redcliffe ground will take a fair bit of the weight. And I think, like you said, I think Towns will end up taking a fair bit of the weight as well. But it doesn't matter, like you said.
A few games up.
Yeah, like you said, there's not too many. Doesn't matter where you play them because crowds aren't important in them. Well, they're always important, but not important in relation to attending the games. I've got a text message here as well. Just looking for it here at the moment. It's in consideration to the current economic climate. This is from Shane at Coffs Harbour. So, Badger, the current economic climate, I believe the NRL player contracts will be sustainable at a reduced rate. So he's just saying we've got to reduce the amount if we want the game to be sustainable from a financial point of view. The proposed $1 million player is probably more realistically looking at $600K. And I'm thinking that's moving forward. I'm led to believe that the NRL are in a pretty good financial state over the last 12 to 14 months compared to 18, 24 months ago. And this is going to obviously take a large chunk out of their bottom line, what's going on with COVID. But Shane, the players did take a pay cut, and not a huge pay cut, but I think moving forward over the next 2 or 3 years, you might have a point there, Shane. We mightn't see
the TV rights deal,
yeah,
and head office also trimmed a lot of the fat off, and there was.
Absolutely,
it seems to me from the outside as though seriously. If the jobs that they must have had for people that were getting a lot of money for hiding in a closet, I don't know. It just seemed if you could suddenly get rid of that many people and still keep running the organisation as well as they've done, unless they're all, and I know they have been going over and above. So I don't want to be negative towards Peter V'landys and Andrew Abdo and co because they've done an incredible job, but they did really trim a lot of the fat off there as far as head office goes. So, but the TV rights deal, I think, has been a godsend that's been able to keep the competition going, and that was part of the reason why they had to try to make sure they did keep going last weekend as well. Of course, with Queensland government permission and all those other restrictions around it. Hopefully, I don't know if they'll ever have to go back. You never know, though. They might have to, and just might be a new reality for players that suddenly they have to drop the salary back for a season or two.
Yep.
everyone has to take a cut. But that's just there's not like they've got a lot of options out there, really, is it?
Well, you'd think with COVID, and everyone having to watch it on TV, that it will enhance negotiations surrounding broadcasting deal.
I tell you what, while we're talking about all that and COVID affecting everything, and of course it does all everyday lives. If you're an anti-vaxxer and you're playing in the NRL next year, it looks like you will have to stick with the level 4 protocols that are underway now.
Yeah.
While your teammates and everyone else returns to normal everyday life, if and when that happens, along with the general public, if you are an anti-vaxxer, you're not going to have that privilege. So it's just another incentive, I guess, for people to...
You can see what's happening here, Badge.
To go out and get yourself vaccinated.
You'll see a player that doesn't want to get vaccinated and it'll become a legal nightmare. I hope it doesn't. And I think that I hope that all players jump on board and families jump on board and realise how important that the game is to a lot of people, but also yourself and your livelihood in relation to your profession.
Yeah, I know. Look, I've called it selfish before, but I know it's not that simple. People have their reasons behind it, but some people don't. Some people just, it's just what they. I don't need to get it. I spoke to a bloke today in North Queensland who said, "There's not even up here. No one's even wearing a mask." I thought, mate, you never know. And now, as you said, there's a case in Cairns.
Cairns, yeah.
Is that right? So
yeah, absolutely.
It can spread pretty quickly. Hey, listen, we've got to get to a break. Sats and Badge Sports Day for the 7-seat Kia Sorrento, just been crowned Drive Car of the Year. We better tell you all about the Olympics when we come back. Australia on the verge of another gold medal. Back soon.
This is Sports Day with Badge and Sats for Kia, the Kia Sorrento, Drive Car of the Year.
Better get to an Olympic update because there's always plenty going on well into week 2 of the Games for Red Energy. It's green and gold for Real Aussie Energy. Switch to red today. You can't go wrong. We mentioned before, Sats, a couple of our sailors in the men's 470 class with a race to spare have the gold medal wrapped up. They'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. They've just got to start by all accounts. And the other reason they won't win is if an iceberg emerges in front of them. So that's for how far ahead they are.
The Titanic.
Yeah.
Yes. So Matt Belcher and Will Ryan. Matt won in London, I believe. In London. He won a gold. And, great stuff. After Matt Wern was in a really similar position a few days ago when he won his gold medal in the sailing. So great to know. There's another one coming. We need to keep that tally.
Another Belcher coming. Hey, you spoke about what's going on with all the makeup and the fingernails and everything at the start of the show. Toronto Rodders said they talk about the chains and the guys wear. The chains that the guys wear and the girls' hairdos and the wigs are not going to make them run faster. And one guy had 3 big gold chains on his neck and the girls had hair everywhere.
So if you put an extra 2 kilos on, does that make it run slower?
I don't know.
2 kilos in chains? Well, yeah. Well, it doesn't seem to be a distraction.
Maybe it's more about the public relations and the commercial opportunities you may get after the Olympics.
Well, Riley Day, do you think she'll start to get the bling happening, or she's about desert? You know what I heard last night? Riley Day hasn't got a sponsor. She works for Woolies. Woolies, what are you doing? What's she doing, packing stuff and working? Why aren't you sponsoring her? And she's doing an ad that Woolies have got her in the ad. I hope they paid her for that. She should be their pin-up.
Yeah,
she's outstanding. What a magnificent athlete she is, and she's just going to get better and better. Of course, she's the young girl at 16 who raced against Usain Bolt in that nitro.
She did too. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, pushing buttons there. Sorry about that. Now the Matildas lost to Sweden 1-0 last night in the semis. It was as dodgy as a call I've ever seen.
Heartbreaking
from the referee.
We would have led 1-0 at that stage in the first half. The Swedish scored those goals straight after half time.
Was he Swedish? He was Honduran? So anyway, they play for the bronze and they have to pick themselves up against the USA, who are the hot favourites going in. They now play against the USA for the bronze, and hopefully the Americans are still feeling really down about the fact that they're not in the gold medal playoff. But it It was quite controversial. So
I
really felt sorry for them.
They've ridden the wave of emotion, the Swedish, because they played the USA, who are the juggernauts and number one ranked in the world at the moment. They played USA in the first match of the Olympics, or their first match, beat them 3-0.
Yeah.
So,
That started it, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And Australia are always going to be up against it, but we had the great opportunity from Sam Kerr, which, like I said, took us to a 1-0 lead, or would have taken us to a 1-0 lead. It just seemed as though we never recovered from it. They scored straight after half-time and had plenty of opportunities, but a little bit like the hockey ruse and the hockey against India the other day. Had a lot of opportunities, but, Swedish just defended it like their lives depended on it.
Yeah, now while I'm just looking up something here, I'll run us through these javelin. We got three
javelin.
The javelin final.
Yeah, we have, and they all had three different pathways into the final, because it looked as though all three weren't going to make it. Kelsey Lee Barber. Now, many might not know who Kelsey Lee Barber is. Now, she's the current world champion. She won the World Championships in 2019 with a personal best of 67.70 and 70 metres. So
are they throwing that sort of stuff at these games?
I think she threw 65 to qualify, 65, 69, I think it was. And now Mackenzie Little, she was a youth champion about 5 or 6 years ago. She made it through also, and Catherine Mitchell, she made it through. So we have three in the javelin final. But one of the javelin throwers, I think it was Catherine Mitchell, she actually tripped on her way in, her first throw. Mackenzie Little was throwing under the qualifying level as well. And Kelsey Lee Barber, the current world champion, it took her final throw of 65-odd metres to get into the final. So, yeah, they all had pretty different pathways getting in. So, but Kelsey Lee Barber...
My limited high school athletics career was never trip over when you've got a javelin in your hand. Not good.
Kelsey Lee Barber, she's a huge threat. I was watching her compete, and I was just saying technically she's got some things to work on in the next 24 or so hours, because when she won that World Championship, she just doesn't look as streamlined as what she was in relation to her technique. So hopefully she can fix that.
So that's on tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I can't find it on tonight's schedule. I'm just trying to look at that now. So, and we also have
the 1500.
Oliver Hoare and Stuart McSwain.
Yeah.
Stuart McSwain, I think, might be one of the favourites here. Are both qualified for the semis of the men's 1500. So that's great news.
We've got to remember, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, Peter Bowl, who has qualified for the 800 metre final. The Australian who was born in Sudan, came over to Australia as a 4-year-old, was in Toowoomba for a long period of time as well. He qualified for the 800 metres, and it's very exciting. That's, I think, about 10 o'clock our time tomorrow night, that final will be. And many believe he is a genuine gold medal threat.
Well, Ralph DeBell was the man who won it in Mexico in 1968 for Australia, and the only one who's ever won it, or since then. He was the last.
Yep.
Aussie. And he said that one of the advantages he had was that no one really knew him and thought he was a chance, but he always knew he was right up to it. He said Peter Bowl had that, but now he's not going under the radar anymore after what he did and how well he went and how cruisy he came in.
That's the thing. I think how promising it is, how that last 50 to 60 metres, how he just really cruised into the finishing line.
Or it looked like that to us.
Yeah.
Might not have felt that way.
At 38 degrees.
Yeah, these Aussie updates are powered by Red Energy for 100% Australian electricity and gas. Hockey Roos knocked out of the quarterfinals by India yesterday. Talked about that already. The Opals have qualified for their quarterfinals. Mm-hmm. So that's the basketball that defeated Puerto Rico 96-69. I think they had to win by 20-something points. So they won by 27 and have got themselves into the quarterfinals.
Outstanding.
Great news. And the Boomers, they're playing at 10 o'clock tonight, the Boomers.
The USA beat France today, and for the first three quarters it was touch and go there for a while, but the US ended up getting up.
So this is a quarterfinal against Argentina. Win that and they're in the semi-final. Look, some sports, if you get to the semis and you lose, the two losers get the bronze, but others you have to play off. I think they have to play off in basketball. So,
hey, Badge,
as they will be in
relation to the Olympic, Sporty Gabbers text in 0477 736 736. Hi, Badge and Sats. I want Australia to be good at all gymnastics at the Olympic Games. I'm sick of watching gymnastics and no Aussies in the hunt. It gives me the P155. I think who's our most successful? I think it's Lauren Mitchell was our most successful gymnast in World Championships and
Nadia Comaneci was
and the Olympics. But yeah, we haven't had one since. Haven't had one since.
Hey, did Woogie? No, Brixie said Simone Biles is actually.
I just watched her. Yeah, I just watched her on the.
She's coming in. She's coming in second at the moment. She's right now.
She was out.
Well, she pulled out of the team event.
She came back.
So she's come back for the individual event.
Yes.
Okay. Good to see.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're going to get to a break. Sports Day, Red Energy, proudly Australian, giving us that Olympic update. Call their Aussie team today on 131 806. Plenty to come. Hang around.
This is Sports Day with Badge and Sats for Kia, the Kia Sorrento, Drive Car of the Year. Sports Day news headlines for Polaris, Australia's #1 off-road vehicle brand.
Yes, Sats, how you going, mate?
I'm good. I tell you what I'm missing and what we're missing at the moment on 7 Plus at the moment. Australian boxer Harry Garside, he's fighting in the quarterfinal to get into the medal rounds. It's going on now, so I'm just trying to find out how he's going. Actually, he's a good little fighter. He's a lightweight. Yeah, so hopefully keep you updated.
Good.
Time for this.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Time for this.
No, we're doing it again.
Sports Day news headlines for Polaris, Australia's #1 off-road vehicle brand.
It's hard.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Really good help.
Come on, guys. Wake up.
How come every time we get someone to do our panel, if it's Woogie or Brixie, they both got sausage fingers. They just can't push
No,
their
I'm not
fingers.
taking that one. I'm not taking that one.
Now, news headlines.
That was you. I'm going to tell you, you
please.
missed it.
16 new Delta cases in Queensland overnight, and as we reported earlier on, there's one case apparently that's come through Cairns now, which is concerning because many have thought that the warmer conditions up in the tropics up in North Queensland has been void of any of the COVID cases. So let's hope it doesn't explode up there either. So get range of confidence for the price of a quad. Visit your local Polaris dealer today. Yeah, Badge?
Yeah, well, that's where you hope people have been following the rules and signing in so they can start tracing. Yeah. Because if you can't, then that's how it can spread. Hey, the other thing that happened was the RBA held official interest rates today at 0.1%, so that was not unexpected. But I guess in these times it's nice to have some pretty good news.
Yeah.
All right, time for us to do what? This is where we bring Oprah Winfrey in.
There we go.
Sats, I like this one you've brought to the table. Matt Damon. Now,
Matt Damon talking on stage and being asked questions about some of the biggest regrets and things that you've said no to. What are some of those in your life? Have a listen to this.
Another time I made a moral decision was when I was offered a little movie called Avatar. I turned down, and I will go down in history as the person, because Jim Cameron called me, he offered me 10% of Avatar.
Oh, God.
What? You will never meet an actor who turned down more money than me.
$250 million that's cost him, that decision.
Oh, is that 10% was $250 million?
$250 million. Amazing.
Avatar made $2.5 billion at the box office.
Good calculations there.
Well done, Brixo.
Brixo.
Thanks. That's what I'm here for.
Brilliant. Hey, we've been talking all night about. I won't throw mine in here. Carsten Warholm smashed his own world record in the 400-metre hurdles.
What?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. But these gold medal bonuses for Aussie athletes, I did read about this. Compared to other countries, they don't quite get as well rewarded, do they?
So Singapore, for a gold medal bonus, they lead all the countries. $1 million for a gold medal bonus. What? Australia ranks 19th. Our gold medalists get $20,000.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not so I want to double check this because I also think I read last week that you only get the $20,000 once. You don't get it for every medal. So Emma McKeon is going to get 20 grand, the same as Zach Stubblety-Cook, 20 grand, but she ended up with 4 gold medals.
I just want to say, let's go through the leading countries that give the most for the gold medal bonuses, which is Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Thailand, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Malaysia. So all the way down to Malaysia. I think they're countries that could possibly give a lot of money away, but they wouldn't win a lot of gold medals.
They're not going to win any. Yeah.
So,
but that's. I mean, honestly, I think that's cheap. I think we're ripping our athletes off. I think it's ridiculous how small that amount is when you compare it to our best sports people.
Yeah, I agree.
Like 20 grand. I know it's got to come from somewhere, and we're all going to pay for it in the end. But if we give out 20 medals if we get 20 golds, we've done well throughout the games. Could it be a bit more? Couldn't we afford to give them 100 grand each? That's $2 million. That's a drop in the ocean.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do they go through at the Institute of Sport each year? 50 mil or something. I think we're being cheap.
I do too.
I think we're being tight.
I do
think
too.
We've ripped these people off.
I've got a couple more here, Badge, and one is a question was thrown up to me today that Australia won silver in the equestrian. Of course, Andrew Hoy. What's he badge? Is he 7th
62?
or 8th? Is it?
Yeah, 8th
Olympics. So the question for me was, why doesn't the horse get a medal around the horse's neck?
What?
Not a bad question. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sats. He said his horse is the Usain Bolt of it's the greatest horse.
Yep.
I think they'd all think about that about their horses, but why don't they?
I know. Still got the individual events to come. I've got another one here.
How many Cox plates has Winks got in its stable? None. They all go to the owners and trainers. What's going on there?
Now, another one here, Chad Ochocinco. He is a former NFL wide receiver for New England Patriots, the Cincinnati Bengals, a few of them. He's made a quote and he said, I took Viagra before every game and people thought they'd stop me. How are you going to stop me when I'm running on 3 legs every Sunday?
Oh, is that what he said?
What?
Was that him or was that Greg Norman?
Yeah.
Shark. Poor old Shark. He's up there.
What?
Righto, this is Sports Day for the Kia Sorento Drive Car of the Year. Anything you want to comment on, 0477 736 736. We'll be back soon to wrap it all up.
This is Sports Day with Badge and Sats for Kia, the Kia Sorento Drive Car of the Year.
Yes, welcome back. Before we get into the last blast, I think we might have a text or two there, Scotty Sattler, we want to get to.
If you think you're a good chance at gold, Badge, it may be shooting or some other odd sports, maybe become a Singaporean. They give you heaps of money. Yeah, cheers,
yes.
Rod. Yeah, we're talking about obviously the medal bonuses.
I mentioned to you earlier off the air, Sats, about a mate of mine. His nephew was a very good butterfly swimmer back in the early 2000s and coming fourth, just couldn't quite crack the Aussie Olympic team. So represented the country of his grandparents' birth in Malta and went over there, had to live over there for a while, competed in Europe and managed to make the team there and, lived his Olympic dream via another country. I'm not sure how much they would have paid. I don't think he didn't win a gold medal, that's for sure. But, it would have been nice. Would have been nice for him if he could have. Righto, let's do it. This is our last blast.
It's time for the last blast on Sports Day with Badge and Sats.
On a serious note, I see the residents of Hiroshima have requested a minute's silence on Friday. The 76th anniversary of the atomic bomb being dropped on the city was at 8:15 a.m. And it will be at that anniversary, 8:15 a.m. on Friday. Now, they did ask, I believe, the Japanese Olympic Committee or whatever, and it fell, or Tokyo, and it fell on deaf ears. So they went through the international, the IOC, and they've said, they'll get back to them. They're going to make something happen, it seems. I think that would probably be appropriate, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I think, if this would have been brought up years ago, Badge, I don't know whether it would have been as easily accepted, but I think as time has moved on, and I think it'd be a nice touch. A nice touch. 76 years. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Now, lots going on. There's the boxing that's happening at the moment you're watching?
Yeah, I'm just watching it right now, and it's between the Australian Harry Garside, the Gold Coast plumber, who's fighting in the men's lightweight quarter-final, He's up against the Kazakhstan's Safiullin, and it's the end of the second round. And just by my calculations, I think he's won the first 2 rounds. The second one might be a little bit closer. He definitely won the first round. And the judges, they don't show you the scorecards. They do show you scorecards, after the second round. And I'll give you an update when that comes back for the third round. But while we're on air, we should be able to get a result, I'm hoping.
Yeah, but what's his name?
Harry Garside.
Harry Garside. He only gets 20 grand if he wins. What's the Kazakhstani get? Because you said this before. They're right up the list somewhere.
They're 348,000.
And you know how much real estate you can buy in Kazakhstan for $348,000? A lot more than you can on the Gold Coast for 20. So, yeah, he's going to come out fired up, the Kazakhstani. No doubt at all. The athletics, the men's pole vault, we've got Curtis Marshall in, the 110-metre hurdles, Nicholas Hoff, and the men's 5,000-metre heats, Dave McNeil, Patrick Tiernan, and Morgan McDonald. Some big games tonight. The Kookaburras are up against Germany in a semi-final. That's at 8 o'clock.
They look really good, the Kookaburras.
They do.
Really good.
They do. What about the heartbreak of the Hockey Roos? Hopefully that's we don't see something. The Hockey Roos and the Matildas, I just shattered for both of them to get so close. So the Kookaburras tonight, that's happening very, very soon. They're about to get that started. The Stingers in the water. Now, our water polo men bombed out. I thought they were supposed to be a really good chance.
Well, they beat Croatia. They were ranked 1 in the world. They beat Croatia early on in the tournament, the Olympics. But haven't been that great.
Well, the Stingers, our female water polo stars play ROC, the Russian Olympic Committee team, and that's at 10-9. We believe that's going to get started. And the Boomers take on Argentina at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's important. That's a semi.
It's a huge night.
Is that a semi? Is it? No,
Argentina, it's a quarter.
Quarterfinal. So
huge night.
You go.
Now, Badger, on the text line, 0477 736 736. Mick the barman is in the house. What are your tips, boys? Because Brett is sitting on a duck egg. Now, we're going to do our tips on Thursday night. I haven't really thought of it. I thought
you were terrible last week, Sats.
At one stage, I think I was none from 5 at one stage.
Yeah, you got
horrible.
2.
Did I really?
Woogie and I got 4, and we thought we were lucky to get that.
Yeah.
You got 2 out of 8, so maybe you don't want to get our tips, because Sats is, honestly, you have been quite ordinary this year.
I look too much.
Your mind's elsewhere.
I look into it too much. I try and study the form. The Kazakhstan just hit Harry Garside with a beautiful big overhand right.
Yeah, 300 grand.
This is going to be really close. It's going to be
He's
really
got dollar signs.
If Harry Garside wins this, he's a huge gold medal hope of going into those. Is
this a quarter?
This is a quarter. This is the last quarter final. We've got Rod here. He said the whole of Queensland is not in lockdown, so we could have crowds even in some of the areas that have got low numbers. So I just think the government is just erring on the side of caution, Rod, and just saying we're just not having anything. It's either no crowds or no game at all.
Well, imagine if you put a game in Cairns and then this case has just popped up and that person, if it had happened on the weekend, they go to the footy, well, there's a nightmare, isn't there? There's a drama. It's just going to unfold right before your eyes. So I agree with you, Sats. I think they will be very, very careful with this. They won't just, make exceptions to the rule. The beach volleyball quarterfinal tonight is on as well.
Our pairs are going really well. Our girls are going really well.
Up against Canada, and this at 11 p.m. They're up against the team that beat them in the Commonwealth Games final, Canada, who are the favourites. So if they can get through this quarterfinal, they will be looking really good. All right, before we go anywhere.
End of the third round, and both fighters have got their arms up. Harry Garside from Australia believes he's won it. The Kazakhstan believes he won it. It's going to be really, really close.
Okay, well, I'm hoping you've got a last laugh ready, Sats.
On Sports Day, it's time for the last laugh with Scott Sattler.
He says, I can't believe I just wandered in. He's coming right in. He's going to do a set after me.
The stage is yours, Sats.
Now, just let me explain. We're in different studios because of lockdown. I didn't get to ask you about that. Were you just busy crazily trying to find your last laugh, or did you already have it ready?
No, I already had it ready. I don't need to get ready. It's sitting in my mental Rolodex, as you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So now I want to ask you.
It's called your inbox.
You played with some really good drinkers over your time. Who can drink 2 litres of gas in one session?
Don't know.
Jerry Cam.
Oh, that's it.
The Australian Harry Garside, he
jumped
won.
the shark. He's won it.
He won his
Beautiful,
quarter-final.
We're gone. Sports Day, Badge and Sats. We'll catch you tomorrow night.
See ya.
See ya.